Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. For those of you that are new to the channel, I'm Reagan Sonneban. I am an entrepreneur, small business owner, and real estate investor, as well as I operate a corporate housing business. So, got a lot of hats to wear. Those are just a few. And I'm really excited today to have Kaila Appleman, who I've known for actually, it's been about a year now that I think about it. Welcome, Kaila. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. You do wear a lot of hats. I know that about you, and you wear them well. Um, and we met on Golden Ticket, I think,
It was
right?
Day with Pace.
Day
I
with
was,
Pace. I want
yeah.
to call it Golden Ticket, Day with
Yeah.
Pace. But I am a transaction coordinator. I like to call myself a creative finance strategist. Um, and we've gotten the opportunity to work together on a couple of deals, and so, can relate on they can get very chaotic, those creative finance deals. They can definitely have some chaos to them.
No doubt. I have a great appreciation for what you do. And, I mean, of course, just like me, you wear lots of other hats as well. It's like we do all of the things that we do in our day to day. Then, we end our work day and then we do all this stuff at home. And it's always interesting to see the balance between all of those things. But, that's also a big part of what I love about our community as well is that, if somebody has a dog or a kid that comes up in the middle of the call, it's no big deal. That's just,
Mhm.
we all do that work life integration. But, first, I just want to say thank you because I do really have a great appreciation for what you do and the way that you keep, an even temperament, even through some of the most challenging and chaotic of situations. And, it's interesting. And I guess we've never really talked about this, but technically, I am a TC myself. I mean, I've been certified as, as part of top tier. I've only ever done one deal and I realized right away I did not have the temperament for it. Like you really like, can I do it? Yes. But do my nerves like it? And, all of that's like, no, this is just not the right thing for me. And I realized that. So maybe more than others to some extent, I really have an appreciation for everything that TCs do. But of course, that's only one part of what you do professionally too. You've got a lot of other things going on. But I guess we can start with that anyway, because, I think one of the things that I see and one of the reasons that I wanted you to be able to share your story is because I feel like there are a lot of investors, both inside of our community and not, but that, maybe are new or just getting started, but don't really understand. Maybe they haven't learned the hard way yet. What are some of the things that can happen that they need to be on the lookout for? So I'm curious, like, what are some of the things you see, some of the most common issues for new investors coming to you that they don't know what they don't know or what to be on the lookout for, or all the things you can save them from?
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception is, and I thought this too before I really dove in, is a TC, people think a TC just processes paperwork. And so they don't really understand, especially in creative finances, all the nuances behind the scenes. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of moving pieces. There's also a lot of, I call it energy, honestly,
Mhm.
because I think the TC, especially in creative finance, guides the humans to be able to protect the deal. And,
Mhm.
reading the different situations as things come up can save a deal from falling apart. And so I think that's what I've really loved about T scene, and it's really become my mission because it's bringing that grounded energy and that leadership, that calm leadership, when a lot of these transactions they could overwhelm people.
Mhm.
So if you think about like the paperwork side of things, like paperwork isn't going to save a deal at 10 p.m. when your buyer is maybe panicking, a seller might be frustrated or maybe confused, they don't quite understand the
Mhm.
transaction. And so it's really that TC that comes in and recalibrates everybody back to clarity. Creative finance deals, they're honestly so brilliant and they help so many people. I love where this has gone in the last couple
Mhm.
of years, and I feel like such a privilege to be able to revolutionize this industry and
Mhm.
continue to do that. But creative finance deals, they're really fragile.
Mhm.
So like one misstep in a reinstatement, or like missed reinstatement, right? If there's an auction date,
Mhm.
when is that auction date? Title commitments, are there surprise liens on there? I just have one
Mhm.
right now where the owner purchased the property, he's now selling it, but the previous title company missed releasing a private money lien.
Uh,
So, we're working through that. But really what saves the deal is that calm leadership. It's seeing those moving pieces before anyone else sees it. So I like to say
Hmm.
it's like looking at a chessboard and you're seeing all the moves while everyone else is only looking at one little piece,
Right.
and having that clear communication. And so I feel like where I really love these transactions is it one takes everybody working together, but the TC is gathering all the things behind the scenes that title doesn't necessarily get. And I think that's also a misconception of
Hmm.
someone might think, well, title will just handle it for me. And there's
Hmm.
a lot of things that title does not do. Getting the mortgage logins, making sure the mortgage login works, utility information that transfers over,
Hmm.
HOA estoppel, reviewing that title commitment. And then, Reagan, being in these transactions, the closing documents, they are not your traditional closings.
Right.
There are additional documents. Are those accurate? I mean, title and attorneys have hundreds of deals at one time. We're all human and things can be missed, so it's another set of eyes on those. And the other thing is really when sellers, they this might be their first sale, right?
Hmm.
And it's a
True.
creative deal, and those are more complex. And so helping them understand the process and telling them why something is needed,
Hmm.
versus just asking for, hey, I need your mortgage login. Well, why do you need that? Or hey, keep your insurance in place until the buyers is accepted. This is what it looks like. And just guiding those steps so that they feel comfortable, you're transparent, and everyone has confidence at closing.
100%. I mean, I think all those things you said, there's so much to it. And, I definitely have thought that, just going through the course of every transaction, and everyone is so unique. And, when you realize there are so many different points where, you know, I mean, just different. There are so many stakeholders in any transaction, but especially in a creative transaction, and so there are those different friction points where you realize, like, okay, you're starting to read some of those things that are going on under the surface, like somebody's getting a little frustrated, somebody's losing their patience, and trying to navigate all of that just to kind of with that one goal of getting it across the finish line and all done the right way.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that was, one of the things I was thinking about that I knew you would want to share. And I know, there's the things that are like normal parts of TCing work, but then also I imagine, for example, how often have you had someone that's worked with you? Well, number one, how do they usually meet you? But also, is people that are new to doing, new investors, it's their first transaction. Are there some things that you do differently to kind of help walk them through, explaining things in a more granular level of detail?
Yeah, absolutely. For new investors or new clients, I definitely explain or over explain my
Hmm.
process and to let them know what my process is when I come in. I do ask if they want to be on all the emails. Most of my clients do stay on and then they'll just say, like, if you really need me, let me know. But I like them to understand what my process looks like, why I'm doing everything that I'm doing, and help guide them along the way, especially if it is their first one. With repeat clients, it's more of they already know the process, and so
Hmm.
we work really well together. It's a lot easier when you know their history. Like for you, for example,
Hmm.
of okay, I already know what LLC you guys are buying in. I already have those
Hmm.
documents on hand, so it just makes it more seamless and streamlined. Especially knowing what your exit strategy is, the midterm rentals, what type of insurance already to ask for you
Hmm.
guys. So it just helps knowing the investor's business. But I love working with new ones and helping them because we all start somewhere, right? And they don't know what they don't know. And so I love helping and coaching and guiding. And that's what I also do in the TC community. I'm a part of the top tier JV program to help other TCs, new and experienced, if they need another hand. So they get to work with me, Arlita, and Shelly, if they bring a file, and we'll JV with them and help them through the process.
Oh, wow. How does that work? I don't think that was a thing when I first got certified, and then,
It wasn't. So they did the internship program and then they changed it from the internship program to more of a JV. So
mhm,
if a TC gets a file, and I've actually gone through and JV'd with Shelly on more
mhm,
complex deals as well, or have her assistance and help. But If a TC, let's say they're a new TC, they get a client, they're not quite sure what those next steps are, they can submit it through Top Tier and we'll review and help. And we meet on Zoom daily when they're working the file to help them through any points or questions so that they're comfortable in building their confidence too. Because
That's
again, like we
amazing.
all start somewhere, and 2 years ago I was at zero, and now I've done I think over 65 million in deals closed, all with a baby on my hip when I first started. So navigating in between nap times, but that's what I love, like getting to see everyone succeed. We all collaborate together, and that's what I love about our communities too.
So true. That JV program, because I know I had heard you mention the internship part of it before, but the JV part I've seen in reality through some of the deals that we've worked on together. But I don't guess I realized that that was something more broadly that was available. But I can very much imagine how helpful that must be because thinking about the large variety of different types of transactions that can be thrown at a TC. Not only, are there so many different transaction types, but knowing, the nuances of specific lenders, things that are different from state to state, a million other things, just like even navigating different title companies, which I think, you always have your Rolodex ready for like whatever comes. And I think, that there's so much in my mind, that so much appreciation for that, but also I think some things that new investors may not realize that they're actually getting when they work with the TC.
Yeah. So I think it's really the TC, they don't just manage documents. It's really about holding people. It's, monitoring the energy and the nervous system of the transaction, really,
Mm-hmm.
and having the patience and guidance to be able to help all the parties through because you're working with multiple personalities too,
Yeah.
and everyone has their emotions. It's a house.
Hmm.
Even in a traditional sale, there's a lot of emotions. So,
Hmm.
what I love the most is every file, it really does teach you something. So it's your
Hmm.
patterns, it's your capacity, it's your regulation, it's your leadership. And I always look at each transaction after of like, okay, what happened? What were the learnings? Because you're always learning, even if you've
Hmm.
done hundreds of transactions. And how can you improve that moving forward? I actually, with one of our title companies, Reagan, I got an email today from them of like, really loved working with you. What can we do to help streamline your process? So that we're not asking for the same things or, how can we improve this? And so I loved getting that because I was like, this is amazing. Let's, figure out a better flow.
That is amazing, and that makes you recognize that, that whole partnership piece of it, and I think that's one of the things, like, I see really the TC role as kind of being the center point, and there are so many different people involved, but, I think the thing that's 100% true, when it comes to title companies and thinking about, certain title companies are just really easy to work with, and the fact that they would even ask that question and try to kind of work with you to reverse engineer ways to make things smoother going forward. That's exactly the type of relationships and type of, vendors and partners that you want to work with again and again. That's so cool. Another thing that I think about, is just again all the various resources. So, title companies are one of the resources, but I would imagine sometimes you find yourself in a position where, there's funding or, there's a PML. You essentially kind of become like a connector for others that might be able to help with the
Mhm.
transaction.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like if you need a PML or maybe you're looking for a specific house, like TCs, they know the wholesalers, they see the PMLs, they see the transactional lenders, they see the EMD lenders, Gator lenders. Um, they see what wholesalers work in what areas and what their typical houses that they get. So end buyers, what are their buy boxes? So it's really like a TC is the ultimate connector. They see all parties of the deals. They know what title companies, what attorneys. So if you're ever wondering, connect with a TC. They should know and can connect
That's
you
a
from
great point. I think that might be an underappreciated thing, how much, you really are in a position, like you said, you see everyone involved in a transaction and you have that knowledge of what all, they're doing, what types of transactions, what areas, all of that. So
there.
definitely a good little tidbit to tuck
Yeah.
away
Mhm.
for whenever the time comes that that's needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about things other than what you do as a TC. I know that you recently joined the Zero Down business. Tell us about what that's been like for you so far, and any thoughts and aspirations you have there.
Yeah, I was super excited about Zero Down. Kind of thinking of my background. So I come from the corporate world 8 years ago, climbed the corporate ladder really quickly in my early 20s. And then my husband and I, 8 years ago, built our soft tissue functional health practice
Mhm.
from literally zero. So a lot of grit, a lot of trust, got that up and running. He has a business partner. I recently stepped away to do the real estate side of things and build my TC business and looking at our portfolios and our investments. But the business side of things, I've done operations as a TC, business operations. And what really excites me is looking at businesses and what are their holes, what are their pain points, how can you make it better, how can you grow the revenue? And that's what I did in corporate and fashion merchandising, right? Like sales. And so my background is really strong. I have a passion. Now, I'm not your typical of like, I want to buy a laundromat, I want to buy a car wash. Like, what excites me the most is more of a passion project for me. I don't want to say passion project, but my passion. So, my daughter is, we've been on a journey with her. She's anaphylactic to 5 foods, and
Wow.
we've gone through a lot of issues with her gut holistically,
Mm,
and working through all of these skin issues and health issues for her. And so I really would love a holistic med spa where I can improve that from everything that we've done with like red light therapy, holistic supplements, but for families. So not
wow.
just adults. And so like that's my vision and I don't know the exact how yet, but I know that Gemma is part of like what my bigger purpose is. And
Mhm.
so I share on TikTok more about her journey and everything we've gone through, everything we learned to help other moms and other parents going through the same thing because it is becoming more common, sadly. And so like that space just really excites me, and knowing that we need to make a change in our health and how we care for ourselves, because it's trickling down into the kids now.
Wow. I mean, that's like a mission within a mission. That's amazing. So thinking about like how you the type of business that you were describing there, have you identified any businesses that seem like they might be good for acquisition, or would you want to do some kind of hybrid of like building and acquiring?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a hybrid. So it's not like it might already have that holistic component to
Mhm.
it, but how I want to expand is really for more of like a whole family experience. And so I don't know how that pediatric piece fits into it, but I
Mhm.
think that that would be the addition to, or maybe it is more of a pediatric holistic business and then incorporating the whole family piece. So I don't know exactly what that looks like, but it's going to be more of a hybrid acquisition, and being able to really bring that passion and purpose into it.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like I've not personally had exposure, to the wellness industry, but I feel like I hear so much buzz about it, generally, but also within our community. And it seems to be, you're at the right place at the right time, that there's a lot of momentum building in that space.
Yeah, there is. There definitely is. I think there's a lot more awareness too of like how, what we're putting in our bodies, what we're using on our skin, um, and how that environment component or, the products that we're using, what is that doing to us? So, you know, I don't know I'm like just in the early stages of it. I'm super passionate about it. I'm just kind of like following my intuition and my gut and learning and researching. Um, and we'll see where it goes.
Wow. And now, kind of transitioning, I guess, once again, that kind of makes me think of some of the other things that you mentioned that you've been working on, that you'll be launching soon. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah. So I have another chapter and a new chapter. So I talk about energy a lot and I talk about
Mhm.
intuition and I do a lot of mindset of when I started my TC business, I had the mindset of like, there's no way that this is not going to work out for me. Like, this is going to work. And I have manifested in every level of my TC career.
Hmm.
And looking back, like manifested every level in my corporate career and, what my husband and I have built as well. And so, Unbound, I launched with a partner, Whitney Parkhill, and we go deeper into that industry, into the mindset industry, um, and help people struggling with getting to that next level or becoming the identity that they need to get to that next level. They may be in a state of overwhelm, or their nervous system might feel off. They may
Hmm.
have a lack of clarity, or old patterns and beliefs creep in, which we're all human, right? We
Hmm.
can't escape the human experience. Those are going to happen. But how do you work through them? So we
Hmm.
created a space. We have a Zoom each Tuesday, 8 a.m. Monday time, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time,
Hmm.
for people to come in. And it's really, we're going to talk about all of these things. We're going to talk about, where are they at? It's more of a space for people to share.
Hmm.
And we are launching a course and a coaching programs that we're super excited about to be able to go on a deeper level with people to, get to that next level without sacrificing those you love.
That's huge.
It is huge, as you know, because you can get really wrapped up. And that was me about a year ago. I experienced that. I experienced it in the corporate world, and so did Whitney. And so, how do you recognize that and get back into alignment and really focus on your purpose and your passion, what you're here to do, versus doing all the things? And when you do all the things like that, or I want to say, aren't clear on what you want or your path, then you can get to that burnout state. And that's what we help people do: regulate your nervous system and get into that identity to get you to your vision and where you want to go.
I love that. And I think there's a huge need for that, period. But I definitely, see that within the community and within myself. I think we all have those times when we're dealing, with transactions or intensity, and it's hard to kind of dial it back.
Hmm.
Now that makes me think, sometimes I'll see you post content and you seem to be really good about, like, you'll go out for a walk every day. You're on, or maybe, more than that, out on, you live in an area that has a lot of natural
Hmm.
beauty.
I do.
So what are some of the practices that you incorporate into your daily routine that you might be sharing
Hmm.
through this new course?
Yeah. So the morning routine is very key for me. So I wake up before my house wakes up. It's quiet, but that is my time to, I don't have my phone right away. I do my red light. I do a meditation every morning. I have a favorite one that I listen to that's literally 12 minutes.
Hmm.
Um, and that's just kind of my time to like calm my nervous system for the day and get ready in the quiet space. And then I time block my calendar of my like work schedule because I have a nanny and she helps me, and then Gemma takes a nap, so I have a certain amount of time that I get my work in. But part of that is my run or my walk. I do have a lot of nature in my neighborhood, and I am grateful for that. But getting movement in is key as well, especially if you have any like stuck energy. Just
Hmm.
movement just moves that around, and
Yeah.
you can, if you have like a frustrating situation, just take a step back and go for a walk or go for a run or do some sort of movement. Um, and then at night is kind of where I do some education. So I'll do podcasts, I'll do whatever I'm learning. Like right now, I'm kind of learning all of the behind the scenes for marketing, funnels, sales. What does that look like? That excites me.
Hmm.
I like love marketing, and I love social media and doing reels. So, I like looking at metrics of, what's working, what are people gravitating towards. So, anyways, my nighttime is more of like learning, and then I'll put aside computer and phone before I go to bed as well. So, just kind of like tuning out, bringing that nervous system back.
Wow. Love it. I mean, that really kind of brings everything full circle. And, something you said there about the movement piece, and I know that's one of the things I'm guilty of, sitting in front of my screen for long stretches of time and not getting that movement in like I should. Now, granted, sometimes, this time of year there may be a lot of snow, there may be, rain in the summer or whatever. So you can find excuses for that. So I know I'm certainly guilty of that. And, as we're, of course, right now, people may be watching this in the future, but we're in December. Pretty soon it'll be the first of the year and all the resolutions and things like that. I think that definitely needs to be one for me. So I'm excited that you have this course that you and Whitney are doing. You're going to share and, help people find the balance they need and just, the rhythm and the wellness and all of that. That's amazing. And it does all tie together remarkably well. The different components of your professional life. It's pretty cool. So well done.
Thank you. And thanks for letting me share a little bit about my world and what I'm working on. I appreciate it. This was so fun.
Oh, I love it. I'm so glad you could join. How will people find you online if they wanted to reach out about any of these things?
Yeah. So my Instagram handle is the Kaila Appleman, Kaila, and then Appleman, like Appleman. I always share it like that. My email is Kayla at Legacy Flow House, and house is HAUS.com. And they can just reach out there.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for joining today. So many great things going on, and I know we'll be in touch soon. Everyone else, thanks for joining. Hope you found some great concepts here today, and feel free to watch some of our other content as well.